Hi, I'm Michael A. Levine, and I create music.
Thank you. So, Michael, welcome to the Expo. Is this your first Expo?
No, I was here a few years ago.
So, tell me what keeps bringing you back.
Phone call from my friends at ASCAP.
Well, is there a particular urge or love that you have for inspiring or educating other music creators?
You know, the jokey answer is that I'm a ham, and not to say that's not true, but I really do enjoy talking with people about our art, our craft, and it's fun for me to pass on the things that I know, and I always find when I come to events like this that I learn a lot. Being on a panel with, Bruce Broughton, it's friggin' Bruce Broughton, he knows a lot of stuff, so that's exciting to me.
Well, it seems like you know plenty of stuff as well. I'm going down your credits, just the TV stuff, Cold Case, green screen show, but you do a whole lot of work in animation as well, scoring for animation, and you have a whole range of concert music as well. Did you always have this all-consuming desire to compose everything?
Yes. I started writing songs when I was 10, maybe 9 or 10, and I guess I thought I was going to be a songwriter. I was really interested in theater as a kid too. I acted and I wrote plays, and then I found that you met cuter girls playing in a band, and I ended up pursuing a career in music. But one of the reasons that I think that I'm drawn to film and television music is that it combines my love of storytelling, theater, with music as well.
So, is there an effort that you're making to use your music in order to tell the story, or is it more an enhancement of what's already there?
Well, I think you're trying to help tell the story. The story is usually the vision of the writer and/or director and/or producer, and your job as composer is to help tell that story. But it's just like any other interpreter. You give it your own viewpoint, and part of what makes films and television so interesting is that they are this collaborative art form. I've heard it described as a cathedral, which I think is a really interesting analogy, because a cathedral may have an architect, and yet what finally ends up happening is quite different sometimes than what its original architect may have envisioned it becoming, and it's the combined efforts of hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, not all of whom really know each other or even are all that well coordinated, and so it's a unique human achievement, or an unusual human achievement, to do something, a work of art that is the combined efforts of so many people.
So then, is that the measure of success to you in one of your film and TV works, that it just works holistically well with everything that the other folks working on the show created themselves?
No, I think sometimes some of the best work I've done has been in very contentious environments. I don't think, sometimes you can have wonderfully smooth working environments that produce, pretty bland results, and vice versa. I've also had, really great experiences, but ultimately, you want to do something that's going to reach people, and it's very satisfying to be part of a story, part of an art form that reaches people. One of the things that's fun about a network television show is you reach, 10, 15 million people a week, and there's something very satisfying about that.
So, one of the things I love most about what you do, particularly as a composer, is while you're reaching these 15 million people, it's very mainstream, However, you're also using extremely unorthodox instrumentation in a lot of your work, whether it be the techno opera that you wrote or the concerto for a musical song. So tell me what attracts you to the more unorthodox end of the musical spectrum.
Well, I think I've always championed underdogs, and there's something that really fascinates me about, in particular, musical instruments that are not appreciated for what their capacities are. I wrote a concerto for a pedal steel guitar and orchestra, and part of that came about because when I was in college, I used to play country western bands, and this for some time afterwards, and I played with pedal steel players and go, oh my gosh, this is an amazing instrument, and yet the amount of vocabulary that was allowed in that context was, this wide. And so I really wanted to write something that pushed the boundaries of what the vocabulary of that instrument was and what it was capable of. And I ended up working with this wonderful player named Barry Morse out of Nashville, and we premiered it at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. It was a thoroughly wonderful experience that I can't afford to do very often.
Have you been able at all to work in some of the pedal steel vocabulary into your film TV music?
That one has been elusive. Tom Newman's managed to do it, but that's tricky. I guess that, a lot of the more unusual artistic experiences that I have do inform my more mainstream work, but sometimes in subtle ways.
Well, I wanted to thank you for joining us, Michael.
Quite welcome.
And have a delicious rest of your expo.
All right, well, thank you.